Welcome to Home Cooking with Holly. Today we're going to make pasta fazool. First thing I'm going to do with my garbage bowl is peel my carrots. I'm using 2 carrots for this. Trying to escape. Some of it's succeeding. So I'm going to give my celery a wash. Now I'm going to dice up my celery and my carrots. So I'll start with the celery here. I'm going to cut off that whitish end. And then I'm going to slice it down the center. And this one's a little bigger, so I will do it again, just to get more of an even dice. Doesn't have to be perfect though, of course. Home cooking never has to be perfect. It just has to be delicious. Okay, celery is done. Now for the carrots, same thing, I'm going to cut off the end pieces. I like to cut it in half first, and then I cut them in half lengthwise. And then in half again if they're larger. If they're a little smaller or skinnier, you don't have to do that one. And then just dice them up as well. Okay, carrot's done, celery's done. Now I'm going to dice up an onion. I just have a yellow onion here. Get that outer skin off. This one's got a little spot on it that's kind of starting to turn, so I'm just going to slice that part off. The rest of it will be fine. As you can see, it doesn't go all the way through. Then I'm going to cut that onion in half, and then I'm going to cut each half in half lengthwise. Then I slice it. Careful of your fingers. And then I'm just going to roughly dice it up here. Nothing fancy, just a nice chop. This one is making my eyes water. Okay. And then I have 3 cloves of garlic. And I like to just cut the little end pieces off. And now I'm going to dice up my garlic here, just a rough dice. And I'm trying to make it more of a small dice. Looks pretty good. Okay. Now that our veggies are prepared, we can start in on our soup. Now to my large saucepan, you can also use a Dutch oven, I'm going to add about a tablespoon of olive oil. And once that heats up, I'm going to add 1 pound of ground beef to that. And I'm using ground chuck, which is my favorite. It has so much flavor. Okay, I just put in my ground beef and I'm just gonna break it up a little bit. This one's still slightly frozen, but it will work. We'll start to cook and it will thaw the rest of the way out. And I just want to brown this up, and then I'm going to drain the fat off of it. And you can see it's getting browned up, a little over halfway there. I'm going to keep stirring it occasionally, flipping that meat as much as I can. And we're almost ready to drain. Okay, that's looking pretty nicely browned. I'm just going to scooch it all toward the back. Turned off my heat, and now I'm going to squeeze out that fat, the excess fat. And don't worry, the meat slides like this, it's fine. You just still created a nice little pocket to reach into and get that fat up without sucking up the meat in the process, because we don't want to do that. And now I'm going to transfer my beef to a plate, or a serving platter in this case, and then I'm just going to set it aside. And now that I've set that aside, turn my heat back on to a medium. I'm going to add another tablespoon of olive oil. And to that, I'm going to add my onions, carrots, and celery, but not my garlic yet, because garlic burns rather quickly and we don't want that to happen. And I'm just going to saute that for a few minutes. All right, it's sauteing up pretty well here. I'm probably going to give it about 5 minutes total. It's only been about 2.5. Okay, it's looking good, getting a little color on there. Now I'm going to add in my garlic and cook it for just another minute or so. If I was using already minced garlic in the olive oil, I would only do another 30 seconds. But since this is fresh garlic, I'll do another minute just to let it start to soften. Oh, I wish you could smell this deliciousness. All right, that garlic's become very fragrant. Now I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken broth. And I, of course, am using my bouillon. Plus an additional ½ cup of water. Then I'm going to add in 30 ounces of tomato sauce, just plain tomato sauce, nothing flavored or seasoned or salt-free or anything, just plain tomato sauce. And I'm going to add in an undrained can of diced tomatoes. This is about 14.5 ounces. Give that a little stir. It's already starting to boil. Then I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of sugar. This one does call for a little sugar. And then I have my seasonings. I have 1.5 teaspoons of basil, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 3/4 teaspoon of thyme, and then I have just under ½ a teaspoon of salt and about 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. So those are going in. Give it another stir. And I'm going to add my ground beef back in here. It's already boiling nicely. So now I'm going to pop a lid on it and simmer it for 15 to 20 minutes. And while this is simmering, I am going to cook 1 cup of ditalini. You can see what they look like here. You can also use elbows. Small pastas work. Orzo's a little too small for this. It's not quite hearty enough, but this is the ditalini, just like these little loops. But elbows work fine as well. And I'm going to cook these just to the package directions, and I'm not going to salt the water. I'm a huge advocate of salting your pasta water, but this is going to get flavored in my soup. And while this is simmering, I think I'll add my little secret weapon, the Parmigiano Reggiano rind. These are huge flavor punches. After this is done simmering, I will just scrape the cheese right off of that rind. It'll be all nice and cooked, and scrape it back into the soup. Make sure you are stirring this occasionally while it is simmering. Okay, scraped off the cheese from my cheese rind. You can see a little chunk of it right here. I'll let that reincorporate. And it's been 20 minutes. I'm now going to add a can of light red kidney beans. I prefer light red. If you like dark red, you can absolutely use that too. And I did drain and rinse that. And then I have a drained and rinsed can of Great Northern beans. And I'm going to give that a stir. Then I'm going to drain my ditalini and add that in here. Now you can also add in a little more water or broth if you feel like it's not soupy enough, if you don't have enough liquid, but this looks pretty good to me. Just gonna stir that in, and I'm gonna let it cook for just 1 more minute. And that's it, it is done. Let's serve it up. And here it is. Now I'm going to add a handful of shredded Parmigiano Reggiano on the top, not quite a handful. A scant handful, as much or as little as you'd like. And it's ready to eat. This hearty soup is chock full of vegetables. I hope you'll give it a try. Please like and subscribe and follow me for more recipes and cooking tips.